Hello, I'm Bonnie Browning with the American Quilters Society, and you know, it is so much fun to be here at AQS Quilt Week in Paducah and to get to interview some of our wonderful winners. Nancy Sterett Martin is the winner of the BERNINA Home Workmanship Award. And my, what an astounding quilt. I can tell you that this will be one of those quilts that everyone's going to love when they see it in the Quilt Museum.
Thank you.
Well, so let's talk a little bit about how you made it. First of all, you told me it was painted, but just tell us about that process.
Well, Karen Sistick lives in Port Angeles, Washington, and she painted the quilt. And I did a little bit of work on it, made the eyes a little larger, but she did the majority of the painting. And then she shipped it back to me, and I was overwhelmed with all the feathers. I thought, how am I going to quilt this? And I thought, well, I'm just going to start studying feathers, and that's what gave me the idea. And then I got into the background, and I thought, well, these macaws come more of a tropical background, so that's why I chose designs. So I just drew them in and started quilting them.
Okay, well, and so where did the pattern itself come from?
Just a photograph from a zoo, and various other photographs that we just use as a reference. Probably a dozen different photographs.
Well, you know, one of the things people always want to know is how long did it take to make this quilt?
3 days, about 15 hours a day. For 3 days it took to paint it. And then it had to spend a little bit of time in the steamer and then being washed out. She sent it to me insured, and for every day she painted, it took me a solid week to quilt.
Wow.
So I've got maybe about 6 weeks of quilting in it, and she's got 3 days of painting in it.
Well, okay, so now, so did she just draw the design on there and then paint? Is that how you transferred the design to the fabric?
What you do is you make a large drawing with a magic marker, and then you put it behind your silk after you've stretched it on a PVC pipe. And you stretch your silk out and you get it real taut. And then you put the pattern behind it, and then you can draw on your silk with a pencil, and then you drop the drawing then, and then you're working from a pencil drawing. Okay,
so now you said you actually paint it, but are you painting with dye when you do that?
Yes, I use the jacquard products, and it's a silk, it's a red jacquard silk red label dyes, just for silk, and they have to be steam set.
All right, so what kind of process, what kind of a machine, how do you do that? You know, how do you steam set it?
I built a steamer in my backyard, and my husband said he's really glad we've got a tall fence because he knows the neighbors are wondering what we're cooking over there. I mean, I dye really weird fabrics and hang them out on the trees and the bushes, and I rust fabrics, and they're out in the snow and various other things. So he just said, I'm sure glad we got a privacy fence here.
And so how high is that fence?
6 feet.
Okay, so they can't see over most of them, can they?
But my steamer is about 6 feet, and I made it out of stovepipe. And then I bought a really tall kettle, and then I put the two together, and then I lined it in aluminum. Okay,
now they tell me you have a story about being at the awards program the other night. Tell us about that.
Well, I got a call from AQS Sunday afternoon from Meredith Schrader, and she said, are you going to be coming to the awards ceremony Tuesday night? And I said, I always go, and yes, I'm looking forward to it. She said, well, we have a nice prize for you. So I just thought that maybe, perhaps, I had won first place in one of my categories, because I had this and my other quilt in the show. I was anxiously waiting, and they had they announced all of the winners. I thought maybe I got an honorable mention. When my name wasn't mentioned, and I thought, well, here's my category. And I mean, I thought I was expecting third, and I thought, well, wonder why. And then I thought, well, I'll surely get second. And when I didn't get second, I went, oh my. And then I saw on the screen that it was my quilt, I just couldn't believe that I'd won a first place award in my category. So I proudly went down and accepted the trophy from you all and had the glass trophy, all the engraving on it, and the check, and I went back to my seat and I was grinning from ear to ear, and I didn't have anybody with me, and I was sitting, there wasn't anybody sitting around me, so I quietly texted my stepdaughter and told her to tell my husband that I won first place. And I thought, well, I'm going to be going pretty soon because I don't like all this crowd, and I'm going to leave before it's over so that I can go get to my car and avoid a lot of the crowd. And I was packing things up around me, and then they said, well, you know, here are the purchase awards. And they said that this was the BERNINA Home Workmanship Award, and I thought, well, I won't stand a chance on that. And I saw my quilt coming down from the ceiling and the lights on it, and I mean, I was absolutely blown out of the water. I thought, that looks like my quilt, and I thought, it has to be. I mean, and then I just stood straight up and screamed. 2 first place awards, and I went, unbelievable. So when I got back from that and sat down again, I had 2 plaques, my trophy, the checks, the paperwork, my camera, and I started putting everything up. And then here were 4 women from Owensboro, my quilt guild, and said, you're going to need help getting all of your stash out to the car. You just hauled everything away.
Well, you certainly deserved both of those awards.
Thank you.
And we hope that we'll see many more quilts from you. And you know, the best part of that awards presentation was you received your award from Paul Ashworth, who is the president of BERNINA USA. So I don't know if you caught that when he made the presentation, but
no, I didn't hear anything. I just, I was so worried about maybe falling up or down the stairs, and I was like numb. I don't think I heard anything. The messages were coming back to me. How many times do you have to tell us that you won first? like I was just sending the text again and again. I said, you're not going to believe this. I got 2 first place.
Oh, yes. Well, this is actually, better than first, because I don't know if you know how these are chosen, but they take the first place of the first 9 categories, which are all the large quilts that are in this room, and those, first they pick the best of show, then they pick the hand workmanship award, and so you competed against all of the hand workmanship awards that were machine quilted.
Oh, okay.
So you need to be very proud to have won this award because the competition was very stiff.
Oh.
That makes it even more important, doesn't it?
Oh, it really
does.
This
is a big deal for you. Yes, it is. We hope we'll see many more quilts from you, Nancy.
That's okay.